energy drinks for boxing. One of our main questions we get put to us is, should boxers have energy drinks for training sessions? Therefore, we are going to talk you through energy drinks, why people have them, what benefit do they have, but then also the negatives to consuming energy drinks and too much of them, and also the reasons why many boxers may go towards almost consuming too much energy drinks. So on here, we've got a variety of energy drinks. We've got the sugar-free versions, which are the sugar-free Red Bull, the Rockstar, and then also we've got a sugar-free Black Americano coffee from Costa. Then also we've got a full sugar Monster here with 56 grams of sugar per serving. First and foremost, we are going to show you how much sugar is actually in a Monster drink, and we're going to compare it to food. This Monster has 56 grams of sugar. So that is the equivalent of this. 3 tablespoons of sugar. And all what that is, it's in some carbonated water with a few added vitamins and minerals and flavourings. So 56 grams of sugar is about 240 calories. So 50 grams of sugar is 50 grams of carbs. If we have a look at that equivalent in food, 80 grams of pasta is 50 grams of carbs. The pasta is certainly going to help us feel more full. From that, it's going to help us with our fullness and decrease hunger in the day compared to just living off energy drinks, which are high in sugar. That is why we promote a food-first approach with our athletes rather than getting sugar and energy from drinks. So in these energy drinks, the caffeine content is around 32 milligrams per 100 ml. In this sugar-free Red Bull, which is 250 ml, that's roughly about 80 milligrams of caffeine. In these two 500 ml servings, we are talking around 150 milligrams of caffeine. It's almost double the amount compared to the sugar-free Red Bull, and that's just because it's in a smaller can. In terms of a Black Americano coffee or an espresso, this can range depending on the coffee bean, but it's usually about 30 milligrams to sometimes around 80 milligrams per serving. Roughly, we want to have about 2 to 3 milligrams of caffeine per kilogram around 45 minutes before we train to have benefit on our performance. The main benefit of caffeine is that it reduces fatigue and also it reduces pain perception. If you have some caffeine before exercise, you can push your body to greater discomforts. So basically, you can perform at higher intensity. In terms of coffee, what benefit this has over the energy drinks, coffee is quite high in polyphenols, mainly in terms of caffeic acid. Now, these polyphenols can help health benefits to our body. One, it's been shown to actually improve brain function, been shown to possibly reduce Alzheimer's risk, especially when we get older. This is why it's been linked that those who have a higher coffee consumption throughout life tend to have a reduced risk of mental health illnesses such as dementia, Alzheimer's, etc. And also in terms of these polyphenols, it potentially can help reduce oxidative stress. These polyphenols in the coffee bean have a lot of health benefits in terms of possibly like reducing inflammation. Because it is much more natural than living off a lot of the energy drinks which have a lot of added vitamins and minerals, etc. This is why we usually do promote a coffee rather than energy drinks for a lot of our athletes who do need a bit of a pick-me-up in terms of energy before training. Many people become over-reliant on coffee and also energy drinks. We see many people probably having about 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day and maybe living off 1, 2 or even 3 energy drinks per day. If you are having this much, it's very likely that you are under-consuming food and your body is actually craving extra energy. And because you're probably on a too of a low calorie and energy intake, you are trying to get this energy to keep your energy levels up through these stimulants. Now, this is going to have a much more negative effect on your performance than actually increasing food. Probably going to lead to illness, probably going to impair sleep. Now, we know the half-life of caffeine is roughly about 6 hours, but it can stay in our system for 9 hours. So it's going to possibly affect your sleep quality. A recent review actually showed that having a high caffeine pre-workout drink, such as these Monsters, should actually be avoided after 10 a.m. in the morning to not have an adverse effect on your sleep quality that night. So this is really important to take into consideration when using these. Usually in the morning, we do prescribe our athletes to have a bit of maybe a coffee in the morning to improve that training quality in the first training session. And then we will tell them to reduce the caffeine content in their drinks from 2 p.m. onwards to help them improve sleep quality that night. So they are repairing and regenerating a lot of worked muscles and their bodies to help recover overnight. In summary, we don't advise our boxers having these energy drinks. Instead, we do promote having kind of a more natural based coffee with a quite high caffeine content, such as a black Americano or an espresso. However, I have advised these in past to some athletes, and this is when either they don't like coffee or tea and they are struggling for energy. Now, this could be for multiple reasons, that we're having to have a low energy intake to make weight, or it might be that they're having a bit of poor sleep if they've got a young child, etc., and they are needing a bit of a pick-me-up before a training session. So I'm not saying I'm totally against them, I'm saying I do not advise them that much compared to maybe a more natural remedy. Also, you don't have to have them. They are feeling fine in training, they don't have tea or coffee, they don't have any caffeine, then that's absolutely perfect, because they'll be getting enough energy through food, and that's still going to have a better effect on their training than consuming these. Thanks for watching. If you've got any further questions that you want to ask us, feel free to direct messages on Instagram on boxingscience_nutrition if you have any questions on nutrition related for boxing, and also on any energy drinks or caffeine content of drinks.